Okay, what I want to do is cover reloading the 4570 fairly briefly here. So what I've got for a setup is a Lee classic turret press. I have the Lyman short neck sizing die, so I neck size, and then I have the Lee powder, or the flaring and powder through die, and then Lee bullet seeder and Lee factory crimp die. So this is a standard Lee classic turret setup that I think I bought for, I bought the press for 85 bucks. I think the dies are about 30 bucks. Don't remember what I spent for the Lyman neck size die, but I don't think it was too expensive. Lee factory crimp die, I think came with the die set. Or I might be wrong. Maybe I had to buy it separately. Doesn't matter. And that's it. And I have Lee perfect powder measure sitting over here to the side. So let's talk about the 4570. This is Remington nickel plated brass die. I think I bought nickel plated just because I wanted something to look pretty. I don't usually tumble this brass typically unless I don't know, left it laying in the mud for a long time, and it's really gross. One nice thing about nickel plated though is it doesn't corrode. So anyways, but I do inspect them though, as I inspect the case mouth for cracks, because that's typically what kills this brass first. So I give it a wipe, and then I go ahead and I run into my neck size die. Give me a primer, prime it, flare it, and pull it out. Now I'm charging this off the press, so I've got the Lee Perfect sitting over here to the side. Just a note about this, I've done this wrong, and this is something that's probably pretty obvious for those of you with more experience, but with the Lee Perfect measure, the better way to do this is to leave it in the dump position, go to the fill position, and then go back to the dump position and leave it in the dump position. And the reason is that if you leave it in the fill position, this dispensing cylinder will, and the vibrations from you fiddling on your bench or working on your press, will cause more powder to settle into that tube, and you'll end up with charge weight fluctuations. Now, my experience, fluctuation is like 0.3 of a grain typically, maybe as much as a half a grain, depending on what powder you're using. In this case, for this cartridge, half a grain doesn't really matter that much, but I mean, it can be. My point here is you don't have to have that kind of fluctuation if you use it right. I'm sort of confessing because even though I know that, I mean, I've done it wrong myself a bunch of times. So we've got 49.5 grains of Hodgdon's H322 in here, which is not my favorite powder, but with the powder shortages, one uses what one can get. Now this is the Remington 405 grain jacketed soft point. Good bullet, tough bullet, keep the impact velocities below or right at, maybe no faster than 1,800 feet per second. It works good. Get them above that and it'll expand too fast and you won't get the penetration you want. It's a tough, I don't know what it's made, I don't know what kind of alloy is in this thing, but I can tell you it's actually a much tougher bullet than it looks. I use them because I bought them, and when I bought them, which was a while back, they were cheap. They were so cheap, they were cheaper than cast. The last time I looked at the price, a couple days ago, I think they're about 43 cents a piece now, which is about 4 times more than what I paid for them. So, put a bullet on here, seat it. Before I crimp it, let me show you something. Folks probably know this, but the Remington is too long, or excuse me, the cantilever, there's 2 cantilevers cut into the bullet. Neither one of them work for the Marlin lever gun. So basically you got to seat the bullet to this line up here. Marlin lever gun's got to be kept at 2.6 inches or less for the overall length. So I got these set at about 2.55 roughly. So we're running to factory crimp, die, pretty stout crimp on this guy. I think the 4570 is a super simple cartridge to reload, not a big deal. You don't need a degree in nuclear rocket science. You don't have to spend hours on forums trying to figure out how to set shoulders back and all that kind of junk. I neck size, which eliminates the grunting and groaning, the full length resizing. Works fine in my lever gun. I'm happy with it. Let's see, what do I need to note about this? Nickel plated brass isn't going to last as long as the regular stuff. It's just, it's stiffer. It work hardens. Case mounts will crack. The other thing is every 4 or 5 loading cycles you need to clean the boogers out of the primer pockets because they do crud up, and you'll get to the point where you cannot seat this primer. It needs to be flush or actually slightly recessed into the primer pocket. I don't think that one flat nose cartridge sitting against a primer of another cartridge inside the mag tube is going to explode, but I don't think I want to chance that either. So especially in these little Marlin guide gun, you get quite a bit of recoil. It's a light gun, it does jump around quite a bit, makes it exciting to shoot. So easy cartridge to reload. The Lee equipment, I doubt I've got 150 bucks into this. It works. The classic turret, I love the classic turret a lot better than the single stage that I used to use. I think I sent that RCBS rock trucker off to somewhere on Craigslist. Got rid of that thing. What else can I say about it? Not much. It's a fun gun to shoot. The guide gun is a fun carbine to shoot, which is the reason why I reload this so much. Other than being at the pits to get powder right now, and probably bullets in some cases. Easy cartridge to reload, fun gun to shoot. I hope this video was a little bit helpful for those of you that are contemplating making your own ammo. So, bye.